Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Lauren Ashley, and in this video, we're going to do Prophetic Dreams Part 2. And in this series, I invited someone, you all know him. His name is Holly. We've had discussions before in the past. And yeah, there's a few questions that I have, which is pretty interesting. What are dreams? Why do we have them? Are the people in our dreams real? Have you ever had a dream where you received a message or warning? You know, just curious questions like that. So we'll just wait for him to join. And he just got on. So, yep. We'll just wait. I'm going to send him a wave. Okay. He should be coming on any minute. All right, Holly. Well, I want to thank you so much for joining this conversation. It's been a long time since we last talked.
I know.
Yeah. And the last time we talked, we had some pretty deep discussions about spirituality and things of that nature. But in this particular video, we're going to talk about dreams, prophetic dreams.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason why I wanted to do this topic was because there's just so many mysteries within these dreams. There's so many twists and turns. There's so much trial and error. There's so much misunderstanding and understanding. There's so much confusion. It's just a huge mystery, and this is why I want to have this conversation with you. I want to ask you the first question of, what are dreams and why do we have them? I want to hear your opinion on these dreams.
Dreams are, I think, God and the universe communicating to you.
Mm-hmm.
Because for me, it's always been based what I'm dealing with in life. The real things, not the surface level, but the things that are bothering me, or maybe not even bothering me, but things I'm passionate about deep in my soul. Those things come from out the suppressed and show up in those dreams, and they force you to deal with them, I think, with the appropriate magnitude of how, I guess, important they are to you. For instance, in relationships, I notice that when I go through a breakup, I'm able to handle the breakup initially, but then I'll get an after effect of dreams of parts that I may not have resolved. They show up and they show up full force to where you can't run from this.
Yeah. So they typically give you the root of things. Like you said, it's not surface level at all. This is the truth. This is what it is. And sometimes it's not pretty. Mm-hmm. And I think that I agree with you. I think that it is the universe. I think that it is God trying to communicate with you. And sometimes it's in the most symbolic way. I mean, there are a lot of times where I would have dreams, and the way they express themselves may not come out in a way that I can comprehend it. So, yes. Like, say, for example, I had a dream of transmutating into a turkey sandwich and just overeating. And then I transmutated into a pig. It was just really crazy. But I guess the way I am trying to comprehend it is just be healthy and take care of your body. I don't know if you know that I am clairvoyant.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So my dreams are very vivid, and I get spirits that actually communicate with me in these dreams. Like, I get entities back way back when, back in the Titanic times, I've had a guy who has died in the Titanic, and he has come to me in a dream. He goes by the name of Edmund Stone. Yes.
This is crazy because last night I was watching this documentary on the Titanic.
Wow. Whew. That
on
just made me
on
hot.
on the Disney Plus on their National Geographic. I was watching them. The creators of the movie Titanic went back because they have been studying it for 20 years. Even after 20 years after the Titanic came out, they've been studying this. And they were going through and finding the inaccuracies that they had in the movie. And now they're trying to correct them
Mm.
in the future. But go ahead. That's such a crazy synchronicity that of all things that I watched last night, I watched a film on the Titanic.
I wonder, do you think they're going to remake the movie?
I would see it. I don't know
I
if
would
they
see
are or
it
not.
too.
I would love to see it.
Yeah, it's such a sad thing. Like the only reason, okay, so the reason why Edmund Stone came up, which is one of the guys who died in the Titanic, was in the past, I would say about a month and a half ago, it was a British guy that was talking to me. I'm like, who is this British guy? He was telling me that the path, he was like, there's only one path, a very narrow path. He was basically telling me to seek after Jesus Christ.
Mhm.
And he kept showing me the symbol of a clock, like the time is ticking. And he kept showing me the key, which symbolizes the sacred key of knowledge. And so when I had that dream about a week ago and I got his name, I'm like, okay, so this confirms that I was talking to that British guy about a month and a half ago. So actual people, like actual souls or entities, can come and visit your dreams to give you information. And I think that that's very interesting. Like, even when I looked him up, I saw a clock, a picture of his clock, and a picture of a key that he had during the time of the Titanic. So I just find it really interesting how those clues kind of come together.
Mhm.
So, yeah, it's like a huge puzzle. Are you, what about the people in your dreams? Do you think these people are real?
Oh, 100%. I know they're real. Um,
Okay, name a time where you spoke with a person, an actual person in your dream, and what did that person say to you? Had that person given you any sort of message or warning, or had they try to benefit you in a helpful way?
my buddy Will, who I have the tattoo here on my stomach commemorating, he went to Columbia. He passed away in 2016. And I remember when he came back. Well, I've got to tell two. One, I have to tell because he shows up every time there's something major. He shows up. It's my cousin Bird, and for everybody who has recently been on their deathbed, he showed up and was
Mm-hmm.
one of the first ones there waiting for him. And interestingly enough, when he passed away, he was 22. I was, I think, like in eighth grade or so. And when he passed away, he came to me in dreams.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, he started to just show up, and then he would even kind of do some things in person. But I knew it was him. I wasn't scared. I knew it was him. But he came to me when I graduated from Columbia, and it was interesting because to me, Columbia really wasn't like graduating from there wasn't really much of a celebration. I feel like anybody who has the funds to go to college, you can graduate from college. I'm not particularly gifted or anything. It's just you go, you do the work, you graduate, you pay the money, and then you graduate. But so I wasn't really excited about graduating. And I had this dream that there was a celebration for me. And I was trying to figure out what we were celebrating, like why we were celebrating me in the dream, which I think kind of goes hand in hand with me not really understanding like the big deal about graduation. Because
Mm-hmm.
I didn't dress up or nothing for graduation. Um, but then all of a sudden, I'm walking to the bathroom. This is at the skating rink, and I'm all of a sudden I see my cousin, and I go, "Whoa, what are you doing here?" And he's like, I had to come back.
Wow.
And I go, well, how did you get here? He goes, I drove. And he drove his white Cadillac that he had in his life. And then the
Wow.
crazy thing is, all of a sudden he was like, and then he was like, it was some bullshit though, because I got stopped by the cops on the way here. And all of a sudden a cop showed up in a dream, and then we woke up.
Mm-hmm.
Here's another one, a shorter one. This one for me was definitely a message. Will was an atheist. He was so much of an atheist, his funeral wasn't in a church. And the thing is, Will, for him to be an atheist, Will was the most giving, caring, loving person I've met.
Mm-hmm.
Literally had my back through anything that I was going through, and never, not once did he not be able to have my back. Love him sincerely. Well, Will came to me in a dream after he passed away. And it was crazy because in this dream, I was making music. And me and Will, we met through music. He was the first producer there who believed in me. And I was just making music, on my own. And all of a sudden, my studio transformed into his studio. So my studio was normally kind of like a dark, I don't have like red lights or green lights or something. It's very dark kind of thing. Well, his was very warm, very vibrant, just felt very warm. Always has, because he had wood all over the place. It was just a very warm environment. Well, all of a sudden, my room starts to morph into this extremely just warm environment. And I'm thinking, like, what the hell is going on? And I look down, and the keyboard that I was playing was not my keyboard. It was his keyboard. And sure enough, I look over, and he's sitting right next to me, just with the biggest Cookie Monster grin, just like ear to ear. And I go, what are you doing here? And he goes, it doesn't just end. And he just starts laughing, and we both just start laughing, and that's how the dream ends.
Wow. It seems like when people die, it seems like they get more loving or warmer. I don't know what it is, but it seems like they go through some sort of transformation after death, because I've encountered entities or people who have died, and I have encountered them, and they're very forgiving and loving. Like my friend Mustafa, who had passed, I had seen him in my dreams, and he has asked for my forgiveness because we didn't end on good terms. So he's like asking for forgiveness, and it just seems like they just change. I don't know what it is. I don't know if they see God after death or what, but it just seems like things are different. Like all the BS gets tossed. It's like as if it never existed. Like, I don't know, materialistic things out here just doesn't matter. It's just you live on. Like, it's all about life. There's just so much value in life.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that have passed seem to align more with this concept that life is so important. They seem to align more with love. I think that's where I'm trying to go with that. It's more of a loving aspect of it all.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, so I think having dreams, I think it's the best way to get messages. Anytime I get a message, I always wake up and I reflect.
Mm-hmm.
Anytime I get the opportunity to speak to Christ, I reflect on that. Like, I just find it awesome that I can hear his voice and I can talk to him. Like, I had a dream where I pictured the entire earth, and I said, okay, what are we going to do with the problems of earth right now? And he was talking, and he said, earth still stands. So obviously there's a lot of issues that are going on right now, and the whole thing with the burning fires of Australia, the murders, the sickness, it's just spreading all over all the evil darkness, but he said earth is still standing. And I just reflect on just those words.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Hey, Jordan.
Oh, we got someone else that joined.
Mm-hmm. That's funny. I was going to invite you to this, Jordan. That's funny. You just showed up. But as you were speaking, it made me think about really another definition for dreams. Um, and when you think about it, everything that's the most valuable things in the world are the things that are intangible, right? They're abstract concepts. The most important thing in the world, love, right?
Mm-hmm.
What is love? Love is not a tangible thing you can pick up and carry with you. You can't wear love or eat love, or I don't know, if you had some sweet potato pie, you might be able to eat some love, but you can't really eat love, you know. It's not tangible. But the thing is, it's what motivates us, what just drives us. And a lot of I feel like intangible or the abstract um, experiences that we have, those in our waking life are connected to those in our spiritual life, which I think comes through the dreams. Because if you notice, there's never just straightforward dreams. It's always something you wake up and you're like, okay, let me untangle that. Let me unpack that, and like therapy terms, let's unpack that and figure out what that was about. And I think it's like I said, it's that connection to the abstract. There's something innate in humans that we live in the abstract as well as we live in this physical world, but we also live in the abstract.
I like when you describe it as abstract. I call it the spiritual realm.
Mm-hmm.
It's like whenever we go to sleep, we are no longer in this physical reality anymore. Our mind, our spirit goes somewhere else.
Mm-hmm.
And I just find it, like I said in the beginning, it's such a huge mystery to be able to, you know, be in communication with God or be in communication with the universe. Like I remember being in some area, I could feel everything energetically, like the walls, everything was all energy. Everything around me was all energy, and I could feel this energy. And I looked at the wall and it said, I'm here to work. And it was just plain and simple. It was very literal. It wasn't nothing symbolic. It just said, I'm here to work. And so I woke up and I'm just like, man, that's true. I am here to work. And it's actually very biblical as well. Like if you read like the Bible, God has told everyone that everyone is here to labor. Everyone is here to labor. Everyone here is here to work. So, yeah, what do you think about that concept? I'm here to work.
I think, I mean, I don't think that it is a surprise
It's
because
not.
no matter if you're working towards what you want to work towards or
Or
not,
if you're working, or
you're
if you're just
working.
working at something that you hate. I mean, I'm sure that God doesn't want you to work at
I
something that you hate. Like,
no, people want you to work for them. And that's why we end up working, in places that we hate. Um, I was thinking about this listening to Les Brown. It was either Les Brown or Miles Monroe.
he's a good speaker. I like
Yes.
him.
I didn't realize he's dealing with stage 4 cancer right now, but he's been dealing with that
Oh,
for 27 years, for as
oh my
long
God, I didn't know that.
for as long as I've been alive, which is amazing. Um, and but he was talking about it was a verse somewhere in Ecclesiastes where God basically said, labor in the day, but then go home and work at night. And it was basically saying, and I'm paraphrasing because I don't even know the verse. I just heard him talking about it.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, make your living, but when you're done making your living, go do your work, your life's purpose, your work,
Mm.
because you don't know which one is going to work out.
Wow.
And I think about it like this, like for instance, with jobs. We all get stressed out about jobs. The number one reason we get stressed out about jobs is because we don't want to get fired. I guess this is going into a different conversation, so I'm gonna bring it back after this statement. But
I know, yeah.
purpose. Like I don't want to work for somebody else my entire life. I want to pursue that. I guess to bring it back, the abstracts that I see in my mind. Dreams to me also show what could be possible.
Mm-hmm.
Our brain is much more active in the night than it is when we're awake. Like a
Yeah.
lot more. And I can't help but to believe, those images that I see in the dreams. One, they are real because the same experience that happens in your brain when you're waking is the same experience you have when you're sleeping, just a lot more of it. And I believe that you can take those things and put them out here.
Have you ever dreamt of something that ended up being manifested into this physical reality?
Yes, children.
And what happened?
I found every time my little cousin Darian had a baby, before they would tell anybody that they were pregnant, I would have a dream where I would find a child. And I would just be walking along, and there would just be this toddler. And everybody else is just walking along, like they don't just see this toddler and this crowd of people just standing, like looking lost. And so I would, hey, like whose baby is this? Like, is somebody missing a child? Hello. And I'm yelling at the top of my lungs and nobody's paying any attention to me.
Mm-hmm.
And so I would pick the baby up and carry the baby around trying to figure out like who's your parent? Like what's going on? Is
Mm-hmm.
anybody missing a baby? I'm going to like the offices and places and stuff. Like anybody? Nobody. And then I would just end up keeping the baby, through the end of the dream. Who knows what happens after that? But every time that dream happens,
Wow.
as DJ Khaled
What's
said,
interesting is that we all have a prophetic mind. And this really, it really inspires me to know that we are the likeness of God, like we are God, because we have the same abilities. We can manifest things into, its physical form. We can see the future. We can even see the past, especially in the dreams. Like whenever I have a dream, sometimes I would get memories within that dream. I'm like, wait, I remember this. And so then I would picture the previous moment that I had in that dream within the dream. Does that make sense? So I just find that to be amazing that the mind can do something like that, where you can just, be in a dream and then you can borrow from other dreams, like, or have any sort of memory of any other previous dreams.
mm-hmm.
So I wanted to ask you more in terms of the universe. How does the universe communicate with you in dreams? Have you ever had any sort of encounter with the universe?
Oh yeah. So my friend who's I told you about her, who's also a medium. We were just happening to talk one day, and it came out. I ended up sharing this dream with her. I tripped her out because she was using these cards that are, I don't know what type of cards these are, but they're not like typical tarot cards. I don't know what they are. But one of them had a guy that I recognized on, and I'm like, I seen him in a dream. And she goes, wait, what? I go, yeah, I seen that guy in a dream. And this is not a typical looking dude that you would expect to see me just like hanging around. You
Was
don't look
this an
like
ascended spirit? Was this an
this.
ascended looking guy?
Yeah, this was. It turned out it was Ashtar, the from the Pleiades.
Okay, so this woman that you know she was using galactic cards.
Ah, yeah.
I use the same. I used to use the same thing. I actually fell in love with those cards. I don't use them anymore. I don't
Mhm,
pull from any tarot or oracle cards anymore.
mhm.
But I used to own galactic cards, and it had similar images on those cards, like um, anyone from the Galactic Federation who wants to communicate with you or who wants to share their technology with you. It was very interesting. It definitely relates to the Ash. What's his name?
Ashtar.
Ashtar. Yeah, it definitely relates to the Pleiades.
Mhm.
I think it is very interesting because I used to communicate with the aliens. Like, I used to utilize remote viewing and everything. I was able to see them. Like, I remember seeing a woman. She's a blue figure. I have no idea where she was. Like, according to research, they're like a million light years away. But with remote viewing, you can communicate with anyone, any light being throughout space and time. So I communicated with her. She communicated with me. And what was very intelligent was that she can put me through a mental simulation. So, how I'm talking to you right now, it will literally look as crystal clear as that. It would be
Mhm.
so real, so vivid. Like, I would wake up, I would be completely confused. I'm like, wait, I thought I was there. What am I doing here? That's how real it was. So I'm just like really interested in the kind of technology that they have and ways that they can communicate with human beings. It's very profound.
I think the scary thing that is going on right now that's distracting us from, I think, collectively reaching a point to where we can begin to understand natural ways of the universe. We are being distracted by entertainment and technology. There
Yep.
are there are certain things that I've heard that just cannot help but to, I guess, plague my mind when we think about these certain things. I remember at one point in time, scientists were saying that there was 10 dimensions. We can perceive three, and there's 10. Well, now they're saying there's 17, meaning there's a whole lot of dimensions. The majority of what is going on around us, we can't even really perceive.
You're right. I don't know how many dimensions there are, but I have gotten to the point where I can communicate with angels in heaven and I don't even know where heaven is. So I'm just like, I wonder how far is it really far? Like, how am I able to communicate telepathically like this? It's actually really, really amazing. And it took me a long time for me to deal with being a human being. I'm like, ah, it just really took me a long time to deal with being normal because of the simple fact that I could talk to angels. Like before I didn't know that you could. And so this was introduced to me when I went to a psychic medium and she was saying they a lot. I'm like, oh, who's they? Like, who are you talking about? And she was saying, oh, I'm talking about Archangel Michael. I'm talking about Archangel Gabriel. These are the archangels that I'm speaking with right now. And this is the information that they're giving me. And so ever since then, that's when I was able to talk to them as well. And I just find that to be amazing. Like, whoa, there are beings that are beyond humans. There are life that is beyond our human existence.
Well, and I think, I mean, we're kind of, humans are kind of arrogant to think that we are oftentimes, we think we're the most advanced being,
And that we're the only ones here.
which is beyond me. Like, I don't understand how you can even truly believe that. Think about it. We're finding new species of animals on the planet every day, and not just one or two, like a lot. Every single day we
Really?
find new species of animals.
Wow.
What does that mean? There's places on the earth that are still unexplored. We people been here this whole time. And not this whole time.